drawing lines?
Look, I've been consistent for years, and I've condemned political gerrymandering, whether it's the Republicans doing it or the Democrats are doing it. And certainly, mid-decade redrawing of the maps is particularly problematic. And in my case, what's happening here is there's a lawsuit by a high-powered Democrat firm that has come in to claim that the district that I represent, 11th District, which encompasses Staten Island and Southern Brooklyn, somehow disenfranchises minorities. Yet, I'm the first Hispanic woman to be elected to represent this particular community. Now, the interesting thing is this district was represented by a Democrat. That Democrat was fired and replaced with me because people in the district were unsatisfied with the representation. And so they had a say in this election. They spoke very clearly. But here comes this firm saying that they want to take away the will of the people, that they want to be able to pick who is in this district, which is, by the way, is the most competitive district in the city. It's the only competitive district in the city. And they want to tilt the scale to make it a Democrat district so a Republican cannot get elected in the city of New York ever again. And the solution, the remedy that they're proposing is to put Staten Island with Lower Manhattan, not to add more minorities, but to add more white liberals so they can get the desired political outcome in this year's election. And so it is such a frivolous lawsuit. It should have been tossed out. We're in court this week. We're fighting it, and we intend to win, just as we won in the last two rounds of this battle. Every time I run for election, it seems that we're having a court battle over the district lines, but we will prevail, I believe, in the end of the day.
Yeah, and you make a really good point about Lower Manhattan too, because if it was, say, to go in the favor of the against you and in the favor of the Democrats, there would be kind of a whole other battle that plays out. Somebody like Dan Goldman or Brad Lander would then be running against you in the 11th district, because that would be kind of where the redrawing happens. But I'm just curious, in the conversation, and I hear you very loud and clear when you say you were against it. So what do you say to somebody like President Trump, who was urging states like Texas and other states as well to redraw lines to make sure that Republicans hold on to the House? Was he wrong to do that?
I've said that from the beginning, that it was wrong.
Yeah.
When it was happening, I said that this was wrong. And I didn't think that this was something that should be done mid-district, or it should be done to achieve a political outcome. Look, we have enough to run on, Republicans, to win the election based on merit in the work we've done. We've just delivered the largest tax cut to working families, to middle-class Americans, to senior citizens. SALT deduction restored here in New York for families under 500,000. And we also have senior citizens, 88% of them, that are going to get the money that they pay in Social Security tax back when they do their refunds. We've secured the border. We've deported criminals. We don't have that migrant gang crisis that we had in New York City last year. Gas prices are down, interest rates are down, inflation is down, mortgage rates are down. We have a lot to run on, and we don't need to be doing this, and we shouldn't be doing it. So I've said it was wrong from the very beginning. Yeah. What's interesting about my district here is that it was drawn by an independent special master, because remember, they tried to egregiously gerrymander me in 2022. And that we won when we sued, and a special master drew these maps. Then 2024, the Democrats tried this again. They actually won in court. But what Kathy Hochul and the Democrats did was basically not change too much. In my district remained the same. So the governor and the legislative leaders in New York signed off on this map. And here comes this Washington law firm to somehow say that they are disenfranchising minorities. And the governor should be standing by these maps. She signed them into law. So that's a good question. I heard you asking for questions to ask her when she's on. You should ask her about that, because she signed them into law. Would she sign a map that she thought disenfranchised minorities? Not to mention that the law that they're suing under, it's a law that doesn't even apply to state or congressional legislative seats. So it's a completely ridiculous lawsuit. But I believe we will win at the end of the day, because it is such a ridiculous lawsuit. And the people of Staten Island and Southern Brooklyn, they deserve to elect who they want, not have some firm come in and play this game and it goes for anywhere, whether that's here, whether it's in Texas, whether it's in California. Politically, gerrymander is wrong.
I hear you. And I think the discussion really is further for it happened already in some Republican areas, right? So I think Democrats are saying, well, if they did it, why can't we do it? And since it's already happened in a state like Texas, Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Texas didn't start this fight. This has been going on for decades. I mean, in New York, they did it in 2022. We have states where there's zero Republican representation in Washington, yet Donald Trump got, let's say, 30 or 40% of the vote. How do they have zero Republican representation in Washington? Okay. So again, it's wrong regardless of who does it. We certainly did not start this fight. This has been a battle going on for years, if not decades. And really, I think the answer at the end of the day is we should be using perhaps AI generated maps that seek to make these seats the most competitive possible, right? I'm happy with my competitive seat, and I took it from a Democrat because I was right on merit and I won the debate. But you have all these Democrats in New York City who they can never be defeated or replaced. And that's wrong. If we make these districts more competitive, guess what? People are more accountable to the voters. And it's the voters who actually choose their elected official. It's not just an automatic slam dunk for reelection. What we have now in New York City, sadly, is a incumbent protection program for the Democrats. That's the way these elections have turned out. And now you have one competitive seat, which is Staten Island, Southern Brooklyn, which I represent. Again, I defeated a Democrat to get this seat. It's not a Republican-leaning seat. It is actually, voter registration-wise, 40% Democrat, 27% Republican and conservative. The remaining are third parties, mostly independents. And yet I won because the people elected me, not because somebody came in and rigged the lines to my advantage.
What you're saying with some of the Democratic strongholds that will never change over, that's heavily Democratic leaning in terms of voters. And I hear what you're saying about registration, but a lot of Republicans do live in the Staten Island area and South and Brooklyn and Queens. So it really depends on where people live.
Yeah, but there's certainly seats you can make in Queens, probably more competitive. And certainly in other parts of Brooklyn, you can make competitive. Maybe even in the Bronx, you can make a competitive seat. We have no competitive seats except for my district. And now the Democrats want to come in and change it even further, despite the fact that they already have a significant registration advantage in this congressional district that I represent.